Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, or Rapture as I refer to it in this review, is probably one of the hardest games I've had to write about. Not because it's a difficult game, but the whole concept of Rapture differs from a lot of what I've typically played in the past. Never before have I played a game where the gameplay actually takes a backseat to the narrative. Some may even choose not to call Rapture a game at all. There's no jump buttons, no puzzles, limited interaction with your environments, and you play a faceless and nameless character who feels more like a detective than an important part of the story. Rapture is set in the fictional English village of Youghton in 1984, where all the residents have mysteriously disappeared. It's your job to piece together exactly what happened to the village's inhabitants. This isn't your typical post-apocalyptic game with zombies, destruction, hysteria, or religious resurrection. Instead, Rapture is much deeper than that. Rapture is also a human story about relationships and perseverance through crisis. Rapture doesn't feature a heads-up display, and you explore the environments using your eyes and ears. As you walk around the game's environments, you'll hear phones ringing and radio chatter which reveal clues about the game's story. The bulk of the game's story is told through floating balls of light that, when touched, reveal conversations captured in time. It's by listening to these conversations and moments that you start to understand and unravel what happened to the village's inhabitants. What's interesting is that the conversations you watch don't actually show the character's physical features. Everything is shown with a glowing outline, so you only know the characters by name and voice and not by appearance. When you listen to their conversations, you learn not just about the characters' struggles to stay alive, but their stories of love and loss. The game's environments are absolutely beautiful and stunning, even if you can't explore everything. Lots of doors in the environments are locked, but when you do find a home or building you can enter, every environment has its own personality. Even nice little details like walking into an English pub to see their daily specials written on the chalkboard left me with a feeling that real people used to live here and made me more intrigued to find out what happened to them. Other parts of the environments show quarantine posters and medical pamphlets that give you a taste of the hysteria that existed prior to the residents vanishing. The game also features day and night cycles which look beautiful but also show off the game's rougher edges. It was pretty common to see the game's frame rate drop during these moments, and they are just limited to the day and night cycles. One frustration I had with the exploration in Rapture was the slow movement speed. It could sometimes feel like you were walking at a snail's pace when exploring the environments. Since the game came out, it has been revealed that you can run using the R2 button, and I found that this made some difference when playing the game, but not a substantial one. Since the story is so interesting and engrossing, I wanted to find more plot points along the way, but the game's movement speed felt like it held me back in some respects. Perhaps the developers felt like a slower movement speed would allow players to soak in more of the environment. Another gripe I had with the game was the flying balls of light felt like they were sometimes redirecting me to the same places I had already visited, and it was only by going off the beaten path that I was able to unlock more of the game's story. Rapture's audio design is top-notch. The sound design is truly one of the reasons why the game creates such an amazing and believable atmosphere. Nice little touches like hearing the wind as you stand in the halls of an empty house, or pinpointing the precise sound of a ringing phone or radio static only add to the experience. Jessica Curry's orchestral soundtrack is a masterpiece and one of the best parts of Rapture. The music does a fantastic job of evoking emotion during the game's more intense moments. I think it's safe to say that Rapture's soundtrack will be hailed as one of the best of the year. Rapture's story clocks in around 5 to 6 hours, and there's plenty of reason to go back and play through the game several times since you may miss some crucial plot points during your first playthrough. Rapture offers something not seen in many other games, but at the same time it's important to note that Rapture is not for everyone. The lack of gameplay mechanics, slower pacing, and the amount of focus the game requires may turn off some gamers. Those who are open-minded, love exploration, and want to experience something different will probably have a good time with this game.